The Federal Environment Minister, Peter Garrett, has approved the Gorgon gas plant on an environmentally sensitive island off Western Australia. The opposition's given the decision cautious approval, but the Greens claim it's negligent. The minister's decision all but secures a multi-billion-dollar deal to supply liquefied natural gas to China. Peter Garrett's adamant he hasn't been swayed by the project's massive economic significance. Kieran McKechnie reports from Canberra.
With a $50 billion deal at stake, a green light seemed inevitable.
Clearly, I'm aware of the economic size of this proposal, but the specific matters that I had to determine were whether or not this proposal would have an adverse impact, particularly on threatened and listed species. I made it on that basis and I've determined that it won't.
Just as well, the multi-billion-dollar deal has already been signed with China. And the federal government has been crowing about the economic flow-ons for the past week.
Australia's largest ever export deal.
More investment, more jobs and more profits to Australian industry, Mr Speaker.
All that was left was today's environmental tick of approval for the development at Barrow Island off the West Australian coast, a decision Peter Garrett says didn't come lightly.
I've considered very carefully the best science and the best advice that's come to me in terms of potential impacts, and that the conditions that I've placed on this proposal will make sure that there is no significant impact on matters of national environment significance.
There are extraordinarily strict conditions. Barrow Island is an A-class reserve. There are several species that live only on Barrow Island, nowhere else in the world. It is a part of remnant ancient Australia, and I don't believe any project in Western Australia, perhaps in Australia, has had the degree of scrutiny and the exacting conditions placed on it that the Gorgon project has.
Even the federal opposition is on board.
We believe in the project, but we always argued for strong environmental conditions. Mr Garrett's decision today hopefully meets the conditions we set down.
Peter Garrett has imposed 28 conditions on the Gorgon project designed to protect island wildlife, including the endangered flatback turtle. But they fall well short for the Greens, who've labelled today's decision an act of environmental negligence.
Developer first, big money first, environment are very poor last.
It's hard to see how you can have an industrial facility operating 24 hours and still have conditions that allow the turtles to survive. So we wanted to see this project move to the mainland. We're not against the Gorgon proposal per se, we just think it doesn't belong on Barrow Island.
And the WWF is not giving up its fight.
Now that he's made the decision to allow it to go ahead on environmental grounds, I think we're switching our focus onto the companies, onto Chevron, onto ExxonMobil and onto Shell, and asking them to do the responsible thing.
We think that the flatback turtle population is important, and so we're very happy to work with both the state and the Commonwealth governments to ensure that the flatback turtles are conserved for a long time.
And ensure gas exports can start flowing to China by 2015. Kieran McKechnie, Lateline.